Hello, welcome back to PokéBoys. We're here, Season 7, playing through Pokemon Unbound. Tonight's episode is covering Leg 3. We're going to be going through Gym Badges 5 and 6, and a whole lot of story of Pokemon Unbound. But just like we have been all season, I'm joined by my fellow co-host and Pokemaniac, Kumino. How you doing tonight, my dude?
First and foremost, I gotta say, what's up? Because we want truth. For everybody that's watching that knows that reference, I'm with you. I feel the pain, but I'm doing good.
That's good. Yeah, I won't blame you if you're a bit distracted tonight because we are taking up your precious wrestling time.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm trying to multitask.
Yeah, I mean that's usually me during football season, so I get it. Venom, how are you doing tonight, my dude?
Doing pretty well. We're
here.
I finished the leg.
That's good because yesterday wasn't looking so promising.
16 hours ago, I've not had much sleep trying to get this done. So,
well, that's good. You're here.
Yeah.
You're alive. You're not visibly crying. Maybe on the inside you are, but at least you're holding it together on the outside.
We'll see. We'll see how the recap goes.
Yeah, I'll try to keep the recap, not as like emotionally triggering for you. So maybe just like let's establish a safe word now. So if we start to get into that triggering territory, you can let us know.
Banana.
I feel like jump off is probably a good safe word.
Jump off. Okay. Yes. So we're here. Leg 3, gyms 5 and 6 is the goal. But this leg, we are just smacked in the face with I would dare to say, the bulk of the Pokemon Unbound narrative. So there's going to be a lot of story to talk about tonight. I'll just get this out of the way. My arbitrary Pokemon catching and team building system completely thrown out the window this leg. I'm not even gonna. First off, I'm satisfied with my team. I doubt I'll be making much or any changes to it. And there was just so much to get through that I didn't want to waste the precious time grinding to catch every Pokemon on every route. So I basically didn't really catch anything in this leg. If you guys had any cool catches as we go through, feel free to share, but there will not be any catches to share on my end, just because there was so much story to get through. I just couldn't bear, wasting that time.
I feel you. But I guess I can kick things off because that's actually how I have to start things off.
Okay.
That's the very first thing that I did. Leaving off from where are we at? I can't even remember where we started at.
We had just beaten, I believe his name's is it Levi? Mel, that's it. Mel in Fall Shore City. Our chapless wonder or whatever, and he's sending us into Thundercap Mountain to go stop the shadows from capturing Zapdos.
All right, because this part of my notes it's a lot. I shouldn't have actually covered all of this, in all honesty, but I just felt like I had to. I started with looking for a new team member because I was feeling like we was lacking something. Mm-hmm. Didn't have, electric, grass, water. So I was like, okay, I need to find a team member that can at least fill one of those roles for me, or maybe I need to do some readjustment. Well,
do we need to do our recap, or are you going to have it just let the scroll do at the beginning?
We'll recap it when he talks about this catch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good catch, because I totally forgot about that.
Right, me too. Venom is on top of it.
That's right. That's why he's here, people.
Right. But yeah. So I looked at the decks and what was available to me at the current time. So I went and got an Alambre, grass water, named it Kulo. She's a good girl. Yeah. Because like I said, like I don't have grass, I didn't have water, I didn't have electric, so I needed something that would be able to fill that road. And plus, I wanted more for a special attacker than anything else. Otherwise, I just would have went and got Gyarados and then had 3 flying types on my team.
Nice.
But yeah, so after that, after I caught it, I went everywhere I could go. Used my held items and all that stuff there to level it up. I don't know where, but I had 2 life orbs on me. Gave it a life orb.
Nice.
Set it with the team, so it's good to go. It's more stuff there, but I'm not gonna talk about all of that. That's just too much.
I've never
Like I said,
used
I
a
went into too in
Ludicolo.
detail.
Have you used a Ludicolo before?
Not since Pokemon Coliseum.
Okay, nice.
So
I feel
it's
like
been a long time.
that's an often forgotten about Pokemon.
No, I refuse to use one specifically because of Pokemon Coliseum.
Wow.
Mirror B. Oh no! My first experience with Mirror B was not a good one. So.
Look! Minor B, he was jamming, man, and then he had the little colo out there. Just like it was nice, man.
Yeah,
he's just ready to vibe out, you know.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so let's do our team our recaps after leg 2. I left off with Treebeard, the Trevenant, Nala, my Pyroar. I forgot to write down the levels before the leg, so that's why I'm not saying them. Stella, my Alolan Sandslash, E Honda, my Hariyama, Squidward, my Malamar, and Kai James, my Pupitar. Kumino, your team.
My team was Michael, the Togekiss, Hang, the Embor, Leroy Jenkins, the Garbite. Well, not Garbite, but Goodbite. Lily, the Florges, Paul's Lucario, and Austin Aries, the Crobat.
So who did you swap out for the Lombre?
The Florges.
Okay. And Venom, your team?
So I had all level 36s after the gym. Ivan, the Superior, Dumbledore, the Boldor, Spike, the Nidoking, Sentinel, the Matang, Blue, the Manectric, and Sandy, the Araquanid.
Nice. Dumbledore's name gets me every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like we said, we finished off last episode. We beat Mel, the Falls Shore City gym leader, and he's sending us into Thundercap Mountain to stop the Shadows from capturing the third and final legendary bird, Zapdos. So this was I remember this one particular strength and rock smash puzzle here in like the first floor, maybe the second floor of Thundercap Mountain, where I literally, for some reason, my brain could not wrap my head around like how to solve this stupid puzzle to move through this space. I spent like 25 minutes trying to figure it out, and like I'd accidentally push a boulder too far and then have to like go go down the ladder, come back up to reset everything.
You were doing one of the side quest puzzles, wasn't you?
Huh? This was to get through the mountain.
Where you have to do strength. I think it's the first floor where you have to do strength. I accidentally did it correct the first time. And then the second time, I'm trying to remember how I did it because I didn't have a plan for it. And that's where I was struggling.
I'll, while you guys.
That one.
All right,
I remember the strength on the third floor where the water was. That what you're talking about?
I'm pretty sure it's on the very first floor.
Okay, so it's actually
you mean the first floor is where the
second floor, right?
It's actually the second floor here.
Second floor,
YouTube viewers, you're seeing the map of the floor. Audio listeners, I apologize. You're just gonna have to believe me. You can't see my mouse, of course, but that strength boulder puzzle up in the northern center part of the map.
The kind of
really
west corner,
man, that just threw me for a big loop. for way too long, and
Yeah.
I'm not proud to admit it. Okay, guys.
You know,
Okay.
I won't say nothing. Now that I see what it is, I'm like, oh, now I know why I don't remember, because I just walked.
Yep. Yeah, I walked through it the first time, but then I had to go and heal, and then the second time I obviously did not pay close enough attention to what I did the first time.
Venom,
Yeah.
you have to remember healing items. Do I have to send
I
you
don't like buy- I
a
have-
text message to
I'm
let you
used-
know that you need to buy some healing stuff?
I have, well, now I have a whole bunch, but at that point I had used up most of my revives, I think, in the normal gym, and then
Oh yeah, because then revives.
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot to go and restock before I went in here. So,
the puzzle on the third floor, the water puzzle, where you're like pushing boulders onto those little pads, and they were like hopping to the other, like across the water and stuff.
Yep.
I actually kind of like that puzzle until I got halfway through and accidentally messed up and had to like go in and out and reset.
Yeah, you have to go
and then
all
have to like go and redo basically the entire half of the thing. Aside from that, like I thought that was kind of cool. I've enjoyed the little hopping like mechanic through. Like we did it once and through, I think it was what, Grimwood, whatever the first forest we went through. We were like hopping on a log across the water. It was pretty cool.
Right. So they gave you a little bit of a hint about doing it beforehand.
Yeah. But did you guys have anything interesting happen along your way through Thundercap Mountain before we get to?
Well, I actually started out because I had never even made it to Epitome Town.
Oh, right.
Prior to the gym, so I hadn't done any of the stuff there yet. So I went to Epitome Town, then I went up to, is it Ptarmigan? The one with the science lab and everything. I went up there, and my notes say, "Is this just the intro to Infinity?" Because they're doing all the dream research with Darkrai and everything going on, and they taught there's the kid in a coma in the bed that you just walk into.
That's actually where Infinity takes place.
Yeah,
right.
I had a little bit of flashbacks there. So that kid ends up in a hospital, and then Infinity happens in his brain. So, but then I actually went back and did a whole bunch of mining. And got my Everstone, or I got a whole bunch of Everstone to level up my Macho Brace to level 6, so I could knock out some EV training.
Okay.
So now, if I have the Macho Brace on someone, they now gain 6 EVs for every Pokemon you take down instead of the standard 1 or 2. But I also found a Link Stone, so I evolved Dumbledore into Gigalith finally.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
I love the way that Pokemon looks.
My attempts to get him off the team at any point in this playthrough have been unsuccessful. I did not intend to use him at all, and he is still on the team.
Oh, geez. Well, that stinks. Nice. So you were able to go back, or kind of go back, but then also go ahead a little bit to get to pick up some items. That's cool.
Right.
And now hopefully your EV grind will be a little less painful if you have to.
Yeah.
Future legs.
Well, I haven't changed my team at all because the story is so long in this section. So all of my Pokemon have been EV trained for a while now. So I have it. I haven't used it, but I actually intend on catching more, but it's not until the next leg that I'll be able to get access to a lot of the stuff I want to use.
Nice.
So I'll need it later on.
So we make our way through Thundercap Mountain. It's like it's a journey. This whole mountain portion of the leg is pretty significant.
Yep.
We make it through the mountain and kind of like up to the summit, and once we get there, we still are climbing our way to the peak. And along the way, I just happened to go this way naturally to the left side of the mountain and found the electric cage that was, I forget what Pokemon were being held captive here by the shadows, but
right.
They have, I think it was think they were timber or
Oh yeah, 'cause
conquistadors.
they timber because they break down the walls and rebuild
Yeah.
the stairs. Yep.
Yeah. So I naturally kind of went to the left of the mountain, stumbled upon where the timber were being like held behind this electric fence, and oh, don't worry about it, Kumino. Kumino's got to bounce. He actually has an emergency going on, so hopefully everything is okay for him over there at the house. But yeah, so I freed them, and then I made my way back towards the right side of the mountain, and then made it to the steps that they rebuilt for us. And we get to the top, and who's up there waiting for us?
We got Marlin up there. Is it just him? We're relying on Kumino for everything here.
I know, and I didn't realize how much further down on the page I had to scroll. But yes, Marlin is already like up here at the very peak of the mountain.
Yep.
Facing Zapdos. He's surrounded by shadow warriors, and
Zapdos. The shadow warriors are not electric proof. They all disappear. Zapdos takes care of all of them.
Yeah, and Marlin has a little bit tougher of a time catching this Zapdos. It's not an immediate like critical catch like Moltres and Articuno were. But he does finally catch the Zapdos. But right after that, we battle him. I won't even bother going through my battle because I'm playing on easy. So it was cake. He's got Zapdos, Cacturn, and Crocodile. So it's pretty easy fight for me between using Pupitar for my rock slides against the Zapdos, and then E-Honda, taking the fighting type, taking care of the dark types there. But how was your fight with Marlin up here with Zapdos?
So I swapped out, Sentinel and Blue, I think, were out, and I was training up Bridget, my Alolan Sandshrew, which I still don't have an Ice Stone for, and Bags, my Scraggy. Bags did evolve into Scrafty finally before I got to Marlin. So I went in, my team was basically all 38s. Bridget was only 36, everyone else was 38s. Marlin had a Zapdos that he just caught, level 38, Crocodile, 39, Swoobat, level 37, Dusclops, level 38, and then he had a Mega Sharpedo at 38.
Oh, wow.
Yep. But when Dumbledore evolved into Gigalith, it switched his ability to Sandstream. So now anytime I bring Gigalith in, he's got a Sandstorm going, which is decent for my team because I've obviously got Steel for Matang, and Spike, Ground, and Dumbledore Rock. So I have half of my team usually isn't going to get hit by the Sandstorm at all.
Nice.
So I led with Dumbledore, and of course I go into all these battles blind, so I have no idea what he's got on his team besides the Zapdos.
Right.
Led with Dumbledore. There was a ton of swapping back because of course he leads with Zapdos, so there was a ton of swapping back and forth, but I did get Stealth Rock in to force him as he's swapping to start taking chip damage.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, so I actually ended up beating Marlin without any losses whatsoever. But it was a ton of swapping back and forth to basically it was just one of us chasing the other person's weaknesses the whole time. So
that's so side note, that's like my least favorite thing about doing PvP in like the Pokemon community game on Twitch or something like that, where it's just like,
it's just constant.
Everyone just switching and like it just makes it a real drag. But
and that's why I'm trying so hard to keep hazards on my team at all points, because otherwise you just don't make any progress ever.
Right. But hey, look at you. First try, no losses. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Once we beat Marlin here, we somehow strong-hand him into just releasing the Zapdos instead of just telling us to, screw off and running away with Zapdos. He's like, all right, fine, I guess I'll release it. So he does, and we're told next to head to Epitome Town, where there's a couple of important things to take care of before, we head back to Epitome Town. But there are a few side quest things we can do. Apparently there's one of those mystery tablets in Thundercap Mountain. I did not stumble across that.
Interesting. I have not bothered looking for any of those at all so far.
Right. I was taking a peek at my quest list or log or whatever, and there's quite a few that are just like I totally forgot about and haven't even been concerned about. But basically after this, I didn't even bother going back through. I had a couple escape ropes, so I just popped one of those bad boys and spit me out at the entrance of the mountain.
I don't believe I have ever used an escape rope in any playthrough of a Pokemon game.
Yeah, I usually forget about them, but this mountain was so freaking long. I'm like, there's no way.
The way out is much quicker because you can jump the cliff, so you don't have to go back through all the pathways and whatnot. But
that is true.
Yeah.
Once we get out of Thundercap, Jax is waiting for us, and he's like, "Hey, they're like researching this cool thing over in Ptarmigan Town. Is that how you say it?"
Yeah, Ptarmigan.
So he asks us or tells us we should go check it out, and we get the quest to obtain the power of Mega Evolution from the Ptarmigan Mansion. So somebody was asking, I forget who it was, but when Mega Evolution was going to happen in this game.
Right.
And here we finally have it. Leg 3. So did you do anything before heading up to Ptarmigan?
We get the little cutscene with Jax kind of walking away from us and kind of beating himself up. He's been a little down on himself the last couple legs here. So obviously something's going on with him. But no, like I said, I had already gone to Ptarmigan Town to begin with. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't really anything I could do because I had to do the Thundercap first. So no, I just went straight back to Ptarmigan.
Nice. Excuse me. Now, I don't remember if it was before Ptarmigan or during it or after, because again, there was so much story in this. But we do get a cutscene at some point. I'm sure as we continue to go through in the walkthrough and stuff, it'll tell us. But we get the cutscene of Marlin basically being like, "Okay, we didn't get this Zapdos, but Hoopa, go get us a Zapdos. I don't care what reality it's from. Just go get me a Zapdos," which I thought was pretty interesting, and again, kind of also reminded me a lot of Infinity, right? All of the different dimensions and realities and stuff. I thought that was cool, but I may be jumping the gun a little bit. But
I think that's the next section when we go to Route 12, because he's out on the beach.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that would be. He drops his backpack on the beach, and there's apparently a Pokemon in the backpack, but I haven't been able to get a Pokemon out of the backpack yet. So I don't know. Can you actually get the Pokemon if you don't have
You have to make a spot in
make
your
a spot,
party,
and then you
yeah.
can go back and get it. I clicked on it the 2 times I've run past it, and yeah. But either way, that's coming. We're a little
Okay. I wonder if that's the same beach that we washed up on in the beginning of the game. I wonder.
Oh,
But yeah, we to get to Ptarmigan Town, we got to head north from Epitome through, or not from Epitome. We'll go back to Route 11, north of the pier there, the dock, bridge, whatever that goes across the water. There's Cliff Cave. It's really small. Head through that, and then we're going through Route 11 and Route 12. And like you said, that's when we get the cutscene. And yeah, he's got this bag he drops on the beach, and you can go over to it, click on it, and there's a Pokemon inside. And if you have a spare spot in your team, you can pick it up, and it is a Cosmog, which is pretty cool.
nice.
Love Sun and Moon. I love Lunala and Solgaleo, and it just coincides right with the current set in TCG Pocket, which is awesome. But I grabbed this and I just threw it in the box because I'm not gonna waste a team spot for a legendary I'm not gonna be able to use in the tournament. So cool if you're not looking to enter the season 7 interstitial tournament with us. Add Cosmog to your team and get yourself a cool legendary to finish out Unbound. But if you're looking to do the tournament with us, no legendaries, no mega evolutions, be sad and use normal Pokemon like the rest of us. Yeah, so we get to Ptarmigan Town, and like you said, there's like this kind of eerie, not really eerie, but like all the people in town are talking about like this dark presence, right? And dream. And they have the Dream Research Center over in the northwest corner. They have the mansion over in the northeast quarter. And if you can make your way through the mansion and beat the what do they call her exactly?
The successor.
That's it. It's basically like a pseudo gym here.
Yeah, there's even a gym attendant. So yeah.
Yeah. But if you can go through the mansion and find the switch to unlock the secret room where Maxine is, I believe that's her name. No, Maxima. Close.
Maxima. Yep.
You can challenge her, and if you beat her, you can get the Mega Evolution ring, bracelet, or necklace. I think the 3 options you can choose. You remember which
4 options.
There's 4.
There's like a cufflink or something as well, I believe.
Do you remember which one you chose?
I just went with the ring, and the other ones were kind of oddball.
Same.
Not really my style. So
I too went with the ring. But yeah, she her team for me was Wigglytuff, an Altaria that Mega Evolves, Delphox, and an Empoleon. Wasn't really too difficult. How was your fight with Maxima, and was her team any different?
Yes. So her team was quite a bit different. Let's see. Who did I swap out? So I ended up having Sentinel back on the team, but I don't remember who I took out. One sec. Sandy moved back off the team. Sentinel came back on the team. And then my team was all 40 and 41 at this point. She had a Wigglytuff level 40, a Alolan Ninetales level 41,
nice.
Empoleon level 41, and a level 42 Mega Altaria. Let's see here. And yeah, so I started with my Nidoking to try and get some hazards down. She was pretty loose with the hyper potions through this whole thing. The Mega Altaria was a problem. It was Mega Altaria and had Flamethrower. So I still had Bridget on my team at this point, and obviously Sentinel being Steel. So the Altaria was a problem, but I did eventually take it down with the Dumbledore. And I don't think I had to use any revives or anything like that, but I did eventually whittle everyone down and got it to a point where it was I had only Bags and Ivan left on my team, both with only 12 HP, but I was able to swap Bags in and take Mega Altaria out with a fake out. It was Mega Altaria versus just those two.
Man, close call.
Right. Yeah. That one was much, much, much closer.
So on your difficulty, are you like limited to a certain number of items in battle?
I can only do 4. I don't know if the
right.
I don't know if the items are, but I am limited to only 4 items throughout the battle.
Okay. I remember you saying that now in the last
I know I have, obviously they don't revive at all, but I know I've faced at least 3 hyper potions in a single battle. But they typically don't hyper potion until you get them to around 20% or a little bit under. So right before they get to red, they'll throw a hyper potion down. But
are they only using 4? Can they use as many?
That's what I don't know. Like I said, I've only encountered 3 hyper potions in a battle before.
Okay, because that would be so rowdy if they're just like unlimited hyper potioning and you can only do 4.
If you can kill them before they get to that threshold, they don't use the items. There's a certain threshold where if you get below a certain percent, they're going to hyper potion if they have one, basically. So
that's good to know. Yeah, so I just found that you're right. There are 4 mega accessories that you can choose from: ring, bracelet, cuff, and then a charm is the other one. Yeah, we both chose ring like the men we are, you know. Ow, I just hit my desk. Yeah, so we get that. We now have the ability to mega evolve if we can find the mega evolution stones in our journeys throughout Boreas. She also gives us an Altarian Knight, so we could evolve or mega evolve an Altaria like she does if we so choose to, but I have no desire to use an Altaria. Do you?
I mean, I do, but I don't use one, so I've used that line before, so it's not going to make the team, unfortunately. I actually really like Swablu for some reason. I'm not a big fan of Altaria, but I do like Swablu for some reason. It's kind of odd.
He's kind of
basically only early on bird Pokemon that I enjoy of any kind.
He's kind of adorable though. Just a little blue ball with some cloud wings.
Yep.
But yeah, after you get the Mega Stone, that's kind of all there is really to do in Ptarmigan Town. So, we got our Mega Evolution ability in hand, and now we are going to continue to head north to Dehara Town, and here actually is where we go through Route 12. And this is the beach. This is where we would have the scene with Marlin where he drops the backpack. But before we can even get to the beach, we have a rival battle.
Yes.
As soon as we step foot into Route 12, our rival there, Denim, was waiting. He was like, "Hey, let's fight." And I was like, "I don't want to, but I guess I have to."
Yeah, I was not prepared for this at all. I don't think I even saved before coming to this point.
No.
I don't even remember. I obviously had healed because I didn't have much left after the mansion battle, but I feel like I swapped out my T. All I say is I'm not prepared for this rival battle. He does say your rival does mention that he has the Mega Stone unlock, but when I was in the mansion before I left, I read the plaque, and the only names on it are Jax and us. So I don't know if he's just lying and just doesn't actually have it yet. But
what a turd.
yeah,
Because he doesn't mega evolve anything in this battle, so maybe he is
right.
lying. He's trying to
'cause
intimidate
he's only
us.
got even for mine, he only has Gabite yet. So
yeah. So for me, he had Toucannon, Vaporeon, Pillow-Swine, and of course Matang. Did he have any additional members for you?
So for me, it was a level 41 Mamoswine, level 41 Vaporeon, level 40 Toucannon, level 41 Lairon, and a level 42 Gabite.
There it is, the Lairon. That was the extra. But yeah, we beat him. He's just having a hard time coping. He just cannot understand why he can't win. And Professor Log shows up, and I kind of do feel bad for our rival in this game for Denim here. He's just like really trying to find his parents, you know? So like I kind of can't blame him for being a turd. He hasn't seen his parents and who knows how long. They've just kind of abandoned him, and he's on this journey.
Log is focused on his Pokemon all the time, you know, so he just doesn't really have anyone to take care of him.
Yeah. So
I actually wrote, I don't remember if it's I think it's later in this section. I think I actually write I feel sorry for Mallory though, because Log is never home, her parents are gone, and we find out later that Mallory and your rival are twins.
Yeah.
And he just takes off. So now Mallory's just
what is she
hanging
doing
out in a icy city in the middle of nowhere with no friends or anything like that.
Yeah. But Professor Log does give us Surf, which is nice. So now we can traverse the waters. But unfortunately we can't use it yet because of course we need the gym badge from Dehara City. So Log tells us to go ahead to Dehara so we can get the badge so we can use Surf. Also, we need to head there to find Jax. And the reason we need to find Jax and head to Dehara also is because we need to check out the ruins of Void, see what the shadows are up to. So with Surf in hand, and after just crushing our rival, we're going to make our way through Route 12. We'll get the cutscene that we'd already talked about with Marlin on the beach where he's telling Hoopa to go find another Zapdos from another reality. He doesn't care how or where, or, he just has to obtain a Zapdos. So Hoopa goes back, brings him a Zapdos, and Marlin now has acquired the 3 legendary birds for the shadows to move forward with their whatever ritual they're trying to do. So we make our way north through Route 12, and we end up in Dehara City, which is kind of cool, little desert city.
It's not a little city. This is a big city.
That is true. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 buildings, a game corner, the department store. Of course, the gym is here too, and we have an entrance to the KBT Expressway, which is nice. I love in the up in the northern part of the city, the little oasis. There's like a little puddle, and that's like the only grass in the city is around this puddle, and there's like some trees and some park benches. I thought that was a pretty nice little touch. Did you do anything in Dehara before progressing? So we do have the game corner and the department store, so I don't know.
Yeah, so I went into Dehara, wandered around, hadn't gone into any of the buildings or anything yet. Ran into Jax, and then I think how do you end up in the ruins of Void? Because I somehow end up in the ruins of Void, but I see there's an Abra there, so I just take the Abra and immediately go back to Dehara to wander or finish explore. It's like the story wants me to go here, and it's like I haven't finished exploring yet, so I go back to explore.
There is a cave, but the cave is not the Ruins of Void. I think you have to go through. There's like maybe a house in the bottom, the southwest part of the town. Let me scroll through the walkthrough and figure out.
Yeah, hang on. Because I thought when you go and talk to Jax, he mentions how he needs surf to get to. Holy cow, this is a long. Oh, it's not even. It's on the next section. Oh yeah. So you come out. I immediately went into the game corner. Jax is in the game corner playing one of the machines. You go and talk to him, and he immediately takes you outside, and then you get pushed through a Hoopa portal.
That's it.
To the Ruins of Void. So I went to the game corner first as my first stop in Dehara, ended up in the Ruins of Void, and it's like I wanted to explore the city, but there's an Abra there, so I just grab the Abra and go back to the city.
Which is pretty cool.
Yep.
They give you that option.
Yep.
But I see you and Jax both in the same mind frame. You have to gamble off your stress.
Right.
You're just like,
I haven't actually used the game corner, but one of the first things I do when I find a game corner, just like the department store, is go in, see what are the rewards. Is there anything that I actually want? So I had to go in. There's not really anything that's going to make an impact on my team or anything. So I wasn't really interested. So I go and talk to Jax at the one thing and then get pulled into a portal, and Hoopa keeps doing this to me.
Yeah. They have like the normal slot game, but then they added, I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of like
everyone talks about it's like a bubble popping game or something. What is that?
It's like almost like Flappy Bird, but from like a third person view, and you're flying through this level and you have to like pop balloons as you fly around.
Interesting.
It's really weird. I didn't like it, but I was also playing on fast forward, so I kept like missing the balloons. But that being said, I think it's pretty neat that they like were creative with and made a new mini game,
right?
Which was really cool.
That was one of my favorite parts of Infinity, is how they added all the different mini games and the little card collector thing in Infinity, where they had that one, and then they had the Minesweeper one and all that kind of stuff. So that was really cool.
Yeah. Nothing beats good old Voltorb Switch, though. Right. I love that. That's classic. But yeah, so that's going on over in the game corner. I have you messed with the dowsing machine yet, which is basically the item finder?
I just have mine permanently on.
Yeah, dude. So you go in the game corner and you can't take like 2 steps without finding coins all over the thing. I think I ended just walking through the game corner and picking up the hidden coins with like 460 or 480 something, like almost 500 coins, just picking them up off the floor, which is pretty nuts.
Right.
Did you buy anything at the department store?
I did not. No, there was nothing at the game corner or the department store that I was really interested in. There's people that fight you in the department store though, right?
Yeah, which was nuts. I'm just walking around talking to everyone, and they're like just being way too aggressive. I'm like, I'm just trying to start a conversation, man. You don't have to start chucking Pokeballs at me. There are a few side quests here. The one that I actually completed, you could there's this guy that was complaining about I suck at saying this Pokemon's name, but Yukumuku or whatever.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Being washed up on the beach, and he gives you a quest to go throw him back in the water. So I did that.
Yeah, I did that one as well.
And that gives you a power band. Excuse me. While I was doing that, I interacted with one of the sandcastles that one of the trainers was building, and finally caught a was it
should be sandy ghast yet.
I don't think it was a
Palo Sand evolves at like 42 or something.
Yeah. That would have been wild if it was a Palisand. But
Right.
I caught the Sandy Guest, and I used Sandy Guest in season 1 and loved it. It's not going to be on the team because I've already used it, but I love Palisand. That's a cool Pokemon.
I used it for like 10 minutes and like one, and then I had so many Pokemon that were late evolvers that I just got Gigalith and Scrafty now as we're trying to get to the 5th gym, so that would have been rough.
That is true. One of the houses here in Dehara, though, will give you a Unova starter. So,
right,
or no, Steno starter, not a Unova starter.
Yep.
Unova was in another past area, but you can get Turtwig, Chimchar, or Piplup here, and they come at level 30, which is pretty nice. You don't have to worry about leveling them up too much. I picked Piplup. Did you do this? Did you pick one?
I did. I went with the Chimchar because I have Araquanid and Serperior already, so I needed some fire.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Kumino also picked Chimchar because he did, and it was shiny, wasn't it?
Yes, because he was resetting for I think he wanted an adamant nature or something like that. And
yeah.
He ended up getting a shiny instead of getting the nature he wanted.
Yeah, darn man.
For resetting this one, because I actually did reset for nature as well. Because I reset for adamant. So in order to get the nature you wanted here, I had a save state set up, but your natures were determined by the time. So every 1 second, it'll change nature. So I had to sit and count in my head, try and keep track of the time in my head, and I think it was like at 13 seconds, I believe I got adamant nature. So I had to go 1 up to 13, trying to make sure I was accurately keeping track of the time to get the nature.
Oh my goodness!
So I'm wondering if Kumino noticed that or not, or if that's why he reset so much trying to get the correct nature. But it's on a timer as far as when you can get the nature you want. So that was kind of interesting.
That's crazy. Yeah, so I wonder, I wanted to ask, but then I didn't, and then because I was like, maybe I'll try resetting for a shiny. I mean, I did that a lot in Rejuvenation, and I know the odds are much higher, but I was like, I'm kind of bored. I'll just sit here and reset. But I was gonna ask Kumino, I forgot to, but if it would show as shiny in the little picture that pops up when you obtain it, or if you had to like go in.
So with your starter, it was different. With your starter, there were 2 pictures. The first picture would come up because you would go up because you got to choose which starter you wanted. You had the 3 starters there, and you went and walked to one, and you would click on it, and it would show the picture of the starter. Then it would ask if you wanted it. And then when you hit yes, it would show another picture of the starter. That second picture would show you if it was shiny. So when I spent 5 hours trying to get a shiny, I spent 5 hours trying to get a shiny Beldum just to rub it in Mike's face a little bit. But I had it set up on my keyboard. F10 pulls up your save state or your load states, and then you can hit which load state you want. So I literally had my controller in hand, hit A couple times, F10, and then save state or load state 9. So I was rapid fire every like 3 seconds going through that. And it wasn't a 5-hour session straight through, but I spent 3 days where I would just come and I've got 30 minutes. I'm going to reset. I'm going to reset for a shiny. I did not get one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, so I was not going to do that for the starter here. I just wanted to get the nature because I ended up with a Beldum that doesn't even have a nature that I wanted, but I was so sick of resetting, I just took whatever it gave me.
Yeah, I got bored and I was like, yeah, I don't actually care because this is not going to go on my team. But it would be cool to have shiny. Also, some things you can get in town here. when you get the Dehara City or the Dehara badge, you can get the Go goggles, which somebody in one of the houses will give you, and that will let you progress through the Great Desert. We have a gentleman. If you have at least 250 Pokemon in your decks, not caught but seen,
Yep.
he'll give you a binding band. And that's kind of it, besides like the game corner and all that stuff. Yeah, so here's a look again. YouTube viewers, you'll be able to see this. Audio listeners, I apologize, but come check out the YouTube video if you're curious. But this Venom is that balloon cloudburst game. So you control the Altaria and you fly
and then
around
you just weave back in. Can you go up and down, or is it
up
just
and down and sideways? You can move all directionally like that. So it's a pretty neat idea. I was not a fan, but if you're able to complete the quest, there's a quest, a mission giver in the game corner. If you can if you can collect 3,000 coins in a single day playing Cloudburst, you will get a balloon Pikachu level 35. Just kind of cool, I guess, if you're into Pikachu. I actually hate Pikachu, so that makes me not want to do this quest even more.
Pikachu is oddly my least favorite of the 5 accepted starters for Gen 1. So,
why do you say oddly? I think that's
because I think you're well aware of my dislike of the Bulbasaur line. So, but Bulbasaur fits above Pikachu.
Didn't mean it. Okay.
Now, if it were Pichu is above the entire Bulbasaur line. But Pikachu and Raichu are below. So,
but Alolan Raichu, I love. I will say that.
I don't really care. Well, I suppose because it kind of the surfing on its tail thing's kind of cool, but I don't like how they took the sharp features and kind of rounded them. It just doesn't look right.
Yeah.
It's like they turned it into kind of a China doll sort of thing.
Yeah. I just like the psychic electric type. I think it's
the typing is nice. Yeah.
But yeah, so like Venom did, to get to the Ruins of Void, you would have had to go into the game corner to have this conversation with Jax. And as we're talking, Hoopa pops up and pushes us into a portal. And at this point, I'm wondering, is Hoopa like bringing us there because he wants us to help stop what's going on, or was he told to bring us there?
Right, because we don't really know Hoopa's intentions at this point.
Yeah, because as we learn in a little bit, who Hoopa's trainer was and why Hoopa was tossed into the river. Maybe Hoopa's not so bad after all, and he's just being used as a tool of destruction here by the Shadows and Marlin and Zeph and all of them. But yeah, once we get into the Ruins of Void here, this stupid, is it to get into the ruins, or later on that stupid sliding puzzle?
Oh, the Hoopa sliding puzzle.
Yeah,
that is.
Okay,
there's several challenges. There's what, six different challenges that you have to make it through. Because there's the switches you have to do to open the different doors.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah, so there's the switches. Then you go. Then there's the clay doll. Then there is then there's the Hoopa.
Dude.
The Hoopa thing. Then there's the second bit with clay doll where you're fighting. Somehow you end up fighting the legendary dog trio.
Yeah.
And then Ho-Oh and Lugia come out and kick the crap out of you. There was a lot going on in this cave.
Yes, there was. But yeah, the stupid sliding Hoopa puzzle is like towards the end of the chamber, right before it kind of leads you to
I actually enjoyed it. I flew through that pretty good. I'm assuming Are you on the challenging puzzle setting, or are you on the easy?
I was.
You actually.
But then I was like, I was feeling a little pressured for time, and I was just like, bro, I'm not having fun wasting my time sliding these pieces around.
I made it through the puzzle really quick. I love puzzles and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like the distortion world later. I considered lowering the puzzle difficulty for the distortion world. That was making me mad.
Yeah. No, that one was tricky. But yes, I with shame lowered the puzzle difficulty so I get the normal puzzle where you can pick up the pieces and put them where you want instead of sliding them around.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. No, the easy version of the sliding puzzle is just 4 big pieces. No. If you're on hard, you can only move the pieces by sliding them.
There's
sliding one piece
16.
up.
There's 16 squares. There's 15 pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah.
So there's one open square, and you have to rearrange the puzzle. With only being able to move that one space, you have to rearrange the whole puzzle to fix.
Yeah, and if you go to the normal puzzle mode, it's you can pick up the pieces and put them where you want on the puzzle. Same number of pieces and everything. It would be funny if it was only like 4 giant pieces.
Right.
It's like, here you go, dummy. Can you put this puzzle together? But yeah, what'd you think of the clay doll summoning all these legendary Pokemon to battle you?
Oh man, that was I mean, I almost wiped just trying to beat the clay doll.
Yeah.
The clay doll took out 4 of the 6 members of my team. And yeah, well, and then because you do the clay doll, and then the clay doll, because I think this is the portion where all of them happen right in a row, basically, aren't they? I don't even know that you can.
Yeah, I think I think the first time we fight Claydol, it's just Claydol, and then he like bashes through the wall.
Run back to Jax and heal.
Yeah, but then before we basically leave the ruins and get onto the mountain, he summons that portal, and I think this is where the 3 dogs are back to back to back.
Yes. Yep.
And then
he summons the portal. You got the 3 dogs.
The Lugia and Ho-Oh are at the top of the mountain or whatever. But yeah, so like I wonder if I missed something like story or lore wise, but I was like, why are we getting these random legendaries thrown at us, and why are they all from Gen 2?
Because I don't know why the generation would matter. I didn't pick up on that, but the clay doll is testing us to see our worth to continue progressing through the cave. Because my understanding is the shadows, they made it to the top of the cave, but they did not go through all of these challenges. We are starting at the bottom of the ruins of Void, and we need to prove our worth, because this is the ruins of Void are where, at least my understanding is, this is where the binding took place to control the
destructive force.
Hoopa Unbound. Hoopa Unbound, the evil force or whatever. So whoever set up the ruins of Void put all of these they put all of these challenges in to make you have to prove your way through through all of these trials to be able to make it to the top.
That's right. That makes a lot of sense. I wonder, maybe they just like Generation 2 for the the battles. But yeah, so the first challenge, you were fighting Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. How did you do with this, with the battles being in succession?
Yeah, so like I said, the clay doll took out Dumbledore, Sentinel, Ivan, and Bags, but I was able to beat it. Ran back to Jax, healed, came back, then the dogs actually, I made it through the dogs in one go, but they did actually wipe my entire team. And I had to just keep reviving. I spent three revives and basically had to pick people to sacrifice to revive the people that were going to be good versus the next dog.
Right.
So I ended up sacrificing my entire team to bring other people back. So those were really difficult fights. I was not expecting them to be right back to back. Like I said, I'm doing this whole thing without looking at the walkthrough at all, so I had no idea what was coming.
Yeah. It would be a tough fight for sure. As we progress through the ruins, we get to like the final chamber. There's a couple grunts waiting outside, and they're like, we can't let the unbinding be disrupted. So of course they're trying to stop us, and we fight them, and they get wrecked. They feel bad about themselves, question their life decisions, and then we continue down into the chamber, and we get to like the ritual site, which is pretty cool looking. Like you have water, like I don't know, apparently the building is like up against the water and the wall's broken out, or maybe we're outside and the outer wall has a hole in it or something. But Zeph is there. Ivory, Zeph and Aklov. I don't think Ivory's there. And some of the shadow grunts and shadow warriors are there. And excuse me. Zeph attempts to perform this unbinding ritual to summon, the evil force or the dark force or whatever it's been referred to. But he's not able to. He's unsuccessful. And then a strange grunt with red hair pops out and reveals himself as Aklov, which is a descendant of the king that was at war with Boreas ages ago, if you remember from the opening cut, cinematic air quotes, the narrative dump that we get in the beginning of the game. He then performs the ritual, and Hoopa becomes unbound, and he's hoping to use the unbound Hoopa to bring the destruction of Boreas, basically to like seek vengeance for his descendant father. I don't remember if he says what. I guess that was a long time ago. So
it was
his father. But yeah, so to kind of prevent us from throwing a wrench into his gears there, he tells Hoopa to open up a portal, and out come Ho-Oh and Lugia to try to stop us. And of course, I smack him smithereens. But how did Ho-Oh and Lugia go for you?
So luckily, in these battles, you are apparently not limited on how many items you can use.
Oh, really?
I started the Ho-Oh battle with 14 revives. I finished Lugia with 5 left.
Oh, nice.
Ho-Oh was wrecking my entire team. The Lugia was not bad, but for Ho-Oh, basically I had to keep reviving and bringing Dumbledore back out to keep throwing Sandstorm up, and then sacrificing members of my team, because I think the Ho-Oh was faster than basically my entire team.
Right.
And eventually Ho-Oh KO'd itself with a Brave Bird. It used I brought bags in, and I didn't know it had Brave Bird, but I brought bags in just as a sacrifice, and it used Brave Bird to eventually KO itself. So I don't know if I would have actually beat this battle if it didn't do half of its life for me.
Oh, nice.
But then and then for you, did they have shields?
No.
Okay, so part of the problem is on my difficulty level. So in Rejuvenation, remember how the bosses had shields where you had to hit them a certain number of times before you could start doing their health? Yeah. Ho-Oh and Lugia have four hits that they can take before they start taking damage to their health. So that's why this is taking so much for me to get through, because I have to literally hit them I have to somehow be able to hit them 4 times to get rid of the shield, and then I can start doing damage to them.
Eesh.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously that's difficult, but I bet it makes it feel like you're actually facing a legendary Pokemon.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And like I said, it again, this kind of a difficulty level is what I want Pokemon games to be. I don't want to be under a time crunch when I'm doing them, but if my Pokemon experience were like this, I would enjoy it way better than the vanilla games. There needs to be difficulty options for the vanilla games, because just saying I'm going to use low BST Pokemon 10 levels below everyone else is not going to cut it for me. So
right.
This is the kind of Pokemon stuff that I really enjoy.
Yeah, honestly, I mean that would be a really cool mechanic for facing legendary Pokemon.
Even you go back to even the Pokemon movies with Mew and Mewtwo fighting each other with their barrier and everything.
Yeah,
they're literally just bouncing off of each other for that entire They're not doing any damage to each other. I mean, that is what you expect you expect them to be able to both deal damage and prevent it, and that just
I mean, these are like the strongest Pokemon in existence, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just out there with a Pupitar, like Okoing it with Rock Slide.
Right.
But hey, story mode for the win.
Yeah.
But honestly, I like that. I like that mechanic a lot. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It should be widely adopted.
I did, however, when I finally managed to beat Lugia with a bullet punch from Matang. Matang leveled up to Metagross.
Nice.
Yep. So I finally have my starter to full strength. Not full strength, because the moveset still sucks, but
I forgot to mention, back in the mansion, Pupitar evolved into Tyranitar.
Nice. So. Very nice. Yeah. So I have a bone to pick with Nidoking's level up learn set is horrible. The only thing that makes that guy good is his TM compatibility, and I have none of the TMs for him.
That sucks.
I've
been learn like literally everything.
Yeah, I've been going through the game with a Nidoking that has double kick, toxic spikes. I think it's Poison Tail, which is it's a 50 damage. So I've got a 50 damage move, a 2 times 30 damage move, and I think he also has Chip Away, which is a normal attack that does 70 damage. That's it. That's what my Nidoking has on it. But I need him on my team because he's the only person on my team that can learn Surf later on. So without him, I cannot surf. So he's on my team for no reason, and he lays toxic spikes. So I have him on my team for basically nothing, and he doesn't learn anything. And
you gotta find Earthquake, or
I need to find
Thunderbolt or something. That's the king and queen, man. They're awesome if you have the TMs, but if you don't, they're just kind of like a giant waste of space. That look cool.
They're really good HM slaves, I think, for the early gens. So,
but after we defeat Ho-Oh and Lugia, Akalov's like, "That's okay. I'm just gonna suck you into this cube, and you're not gonna be a problem for me anymore." So you heard me right. He somehow traps us inside a cube. A new version of a cube, which,
super
if you're remembering, the cube is actually your bag space in this game. So We're
And
like,
then, what is it? Jimmy Neutron's little the little space bag that he carries around. Yep.
So we're like digitized, and again, kind of another Infinity
Yep.
similarity.
With the Porygon, right? Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, we're thrown here in the cube space, and in there, we kind of wander around a little bit, and we find out that we're actually not the only ones inside the cube.
I would imagine you did much faster than I did.
Yeah, what happened with you?
This was challenging because in mine you go through, because you have all these floating platforms.
Oh yeah.
You can jump to different platforms and walk around.
And the center has like the little teleportals. Yeah.
The center portals do not take you back where you came from.
Mm-mm.
So you have to maneuver your way through this thing and figure out what pattern do I need to go to get to all of the different places. And there's probably 20 different platforms at least on my difficulty level. Mm-hmm. And they're all leading you to different places. So it took me quite a while to make it through this.
Yeah, it is. I did forget about the puzzle here, and it's pretty cool because you are kind of like hopping between places and then using the center portals to make your way around.
Normally you would expect, okay, I came from there, it's going to take me back to there. Yeah. But you eventually get to a point where I've tried all of the options, I have nowhere else to go. So then you end up going back through one you've already been in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was an experience.
When we do make it to the end of the road, so to speak, we discover we're not the only ones here. There is Marlon. He's chilling in the cube. And our dad, who we find out is Eros.
Called it.
You did. Look at you. Look at you. So yeah, you want to kind of remind everyone who Eros has been up to this point?
Yeah. So, well, and there was actually something at the beginning in Epitome Town. There was more Eros lore, but if you go back, I think it was leg 1. Was it leg 1? Yeah, leg 1. He saves the region of Boreas from a giant asteroid that's coming in with his he rides up with Rayquaza, destroys the asteroid, and ends up, that's where, is it Crater Town?
Yeah.
Crater Town, there was a city there, it becomes Crater Town, but he saves the whole rest of the region, got all the people out. And then later on, I think in leg 2, you find out that Eros helped the flying people, the flying Pokemon trainers make what is that town? Frost Mountain?
Oh yeah.
Blizzard City. So he helped the gym leader build Blizzard City for all of the flying trainers. And at the very beginning of the game, where Log gives us our first mission, he tells us, your dad was really good at helping people, so you should help me too. And that's where you get your first mission to go and pick up his bag from the other city. Yeah. So he led with that. And then in leg 3 at the beginning, well, you guys might have experienced it in leg 2, but I had not been to Epitome Town yet. There is a old couple in a house in Epitome Town. The lady has a master ball on the table, and you go in and you talk to the lady and basically like, hey, can I have your master ball? And she looks at you and she says, no, this master ball was entrusted to me by Eros, and I was instructed to only give this master ball to whomever possesses Hoopa.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
And the husband was also entrusted to help watch over. But apparently, the husband says that Eros tasked they're now old couples, but Eros has been gone for a while. Which, when we find out he's our father, he's been gone for the 16 years since the cutscene of
at the very
everything
beginning.
that happened to now. Eros has been missing for 16 years, but before he disappeared, before he tossed Hoopa in the water and then was sucked into the cube, he entrusted like sacred objects and important objects to different couples all around Boreas. And those couples now have grown older, but they are still guarding those objects for him.
Yeah, just pretty cool little story they're fashioning here.
Yep.
But yeah, so Eros explains that he's been trapped here for years, and Marlin only recently, showed up. And then he goes on this big thing of like, there is maybe one way to escape. But, it's like the thing is syncing with your bag and you only have a certain time where you can jump through and then do it. And then maybe you can find a way to come back and save me. Essentially, it's the very shortened version.
Yeah.
But,
so he was trapped in this, the cube that we're trapped in is apparently one of the original cubes or something. And he only has a V2 super cube, but our super cube is a V3, which has the necessary technology he needs, because of course he's Eros. He also helped invent the cube. The original cube he helped create the original cube. So he knows how these things work. So he takes the advanced technology from our V3 cube, and of course Marlin has one as well. So we and Marlin are able to get out, and Eros stays himself and says, please come back and get me sometime.
We're learning that Eros is like the Dos Equis of like Boreas.
Yeah.
It's like the most interesting man alive who is involved in literally everything. Which, hey, proud
his life, apparently.
Yeah.
Can't blame him. He was stuck in a cube. I mean, there was a real reason that he went out to get milk and never came back. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, proud child moment, I guess. Like, hey man, look, that's my dad. I've been hearing about this guy for years. Yeah, does he tell us the Hoopa story during this? Because man, this like dialogue is so long. About the cube stuff, I don't remember if he tells us.
The Hoopa stuff and everything is much later on.
Okay,
that's with Zeph when we get to the Shadow Base, I believe.
Nice.
Because when Marlin goes and confronts Zeph, then we get even more of the story and find out a little bit more. But that's a little ways on.
Yeah, we'll save that for later. But so Marlin, we are freed with Marlin, and we're kind of spit out here at Cinder Volcano. And we have to go through Cinder Volcano again with Marlin and take out the Shadow Warriors here. So, this actually, I thought this was going to be longer than it was, but it's like one floor, which was nice. But yeah, were we told yet about the Light of Ruin versus the Shadow Warriors yet, or do we discover that in here? Because we start coming across these grunts that are in white cloaks, and we find out that they're grunts for the Light of Ruin.
Yeah, I don't believe because Aklov obviously comes in because Zeph was the leader of the shadows, but all the time we've been hearing this name Faye in the background, and we don't really know because when we were kidnapped by Hoopa and ended up in the Shadow Base originally. Zeph mentions that Faye is going to want to relocate from their base just to be safe. Right. So I believe when Aklov comes in, and Aklov has secretly been working with Faye behind Zeph's back, and that's where Aklov comes in, summons Hoopa Unbound, and basically says, "You're
like fires Zeph.
Yeah, bye, Zeph. You're done."
Yeah.
But I don't recall if he says he's taking over. I mean, Aklov says he's taking over the shadows at that point, but I don't think we know they're renamed until we make it back out of the cube.
Yeah, so because in Cinder Volcano, we're fighting against Light of Ruin grunts. And let me just say, I appreciate the change up of Pokemon type for an evil team.
Right.
Because now they're using like fairy types.
Yep.
Which is really cool. Because I got to say, I'm kind of getting sick of dark Pokemon being like the bad guys.
Poison. Dark poison, and then a little bit of like steel. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, man. And fairy's not like a type that I would associate with an evil team, which makes it even cooler. Or we need to get more of that, some type variety with our villain teams, guys. Right. Take note, future game creators. But yeah, we make our way through the depths of the Cinder Volcano here, and wouldn't you know, we run into another Venom foreshadow call here. Vega, the Crater Town gym leader. He is a spy for the shadows, and apparently the leader of the Light of Ruin. And you and Marlin kind of confront him here, and you actually have a double battle with him. Marlin is on your team. You choose 3 of your Pokemon. And you have a double battle against Vega and Light of Ruin Grunt. The team for me was Lipard, Floette, Ribombee, Sylveon, Honchkrow, and a Mega Absol. Does that match your...
No, it does not.
Okay. Let's hear it.
So Vega and Unnamed Grunt have Leopard level 43, Honchkrow level 44, Weavile level 44, Mega Absol level 45, Bisharp level 45, and Spiritomb level 45.
Oh, hiccups.
Yep.
Awesome time for hiccup.
Yep. And so I chose, at this point, I had Spike, Nidoking level 43, Bags, my Scrafty level 44, and Dumbledore, my Gigalith level 44. And then Marlin has Crocodile level 46, Cacturn level 45, and Dusclops level 44.
Nice. How did you fare?
The same as the last double battle. For some reason, well,
did they all go after Marlin?
I led with Nidoking, dropped Toxic Spikes, and Nidoking instantly dies. And then I bring Bags out, which I think is the exact same as the last one, where I I'm pretty sure I brought Bags in, and for some reason the enemy team just ignores the fact that he exists. And of course, this is a Moxie. This is a Moxie scrap.
Oh, nice.
So I'm just sitting there like, okay, I'm just going to start hitting all. I'm just going to start OHKOing all of your people. So Bags OHKO'd the Leopard, Absol, and Bisharp. So I actually OHKO'd the Mega Absol because of Moxie.
Nice.
But yeah, Marlin just kind of hung out and ate all the damage. Did nothing himself, but kept me alive.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
So when we beat Vega and the Grunt, they kind of run off deeper into the volcano. Marlin follows, and then we follow everyone. And when we finally catch up to Vega, he's in like, the depths and standing in front of like a magma pool. And what's he do? He summons Groudon. Because of course.
Primal Groudon for me.
Yes.
I don't know, the same for you?
Yes. He summons him with his red orb. Primal Groudon comes out, and this is Vega's cover to flee the scene while we're left to deal with Primal Groudon. We can't catch it. We got to fight it. We got to defeat it.
This is where we're trapped on opposite sides of the pillar, right?
Yeah.
So we don't actually get to fight this battle.
No, Marlin fights for us.
Yep. We are yelling over. There's a whole bunch of pillars that come up out of the ground because Groudon is trying to basically destroy Boreas. He's starting to create earthquakes and stuff. So a whole bunch of spikes come up out of the ground, and I don't know why can't we? I'm not totally sure why we can't fight him.
When the spikes come down, like our Pokeballs fly
that's right.
off,
our Pokeballs end up on his side. That's right.
And so we can only tell Marlin to fight or to use items or to switch
or
Pokemon.
swap Pokemon. Right.
We can't pick the moves or anything. So it's
or
just,
who to. I don't even think you can tell him who to swap to. Can you?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I tried swapping.
Yeah, I don't recall.
But so we're just kind of like in, Marlin holds our fate here. How did this go for you? I'm curious with your difficulty.
So I lost Ivan, Spike, and Dumbledore, but Bags was able to come out and finish it off with a fake out. So obviously, I don't recall exactly. I didn't write down what happened in the fight, but I did make it through pretty easy, even without being able to call the shots on it. So
nice. So when we beat the Groudon, we're able to break through the rock spikes, and now we're tasked with chasing after Zeph, and we got to go to the Shadows base now. That means we got to head back to I forget the starting town, but Frozen Heights.
Right.
Got to head back to Frozen Heights, which is where we started the game, right? We were portaled into the base. We escape the base and pop out in Frozen Heights right in front of Professor Log's house. So we got to go back to Frozen Heights and into the cave, into the base here. And I thought it was pretty cool. Marlin kind of pushes ahead of us here and breaks through one of the doors and leaves like a Shadows outfit, I think, or a Light of Ruin. I forget
his actual outfit. I believe.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. It's his signature red outfit. He leaves it in a backpack. He leaves us in the cave, in Cinder Volcano, and says, "Hey, I'm gonna go try and convince Zeph to join us. Don't follow me. That would be really bad." And then leaves. And so, of course, what do we do? And so I walk out of Cinder Volcano. And I'm like, okay, I need to go back so I walk out of Cinder Volcano and can't really remember where I'm at because it's a location we weren't able to get into before.
Mm-hmm.
So I go into my map and remember at this point that I believe, can we fly at this point?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think we can fly.
I find out that apparently Metagross can fly.
What?
I do not know how that works, but because I have no flying Pokemon on my entire team, Metagross can fly.
That's sick.
So I just go ahead I come out of the cave and I just fly right back to Frozen Heights and walk up to the. So that was very interesting to figure out.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, so he leaves here. He breaks through the door and then. To not draw attention to himself, he takes his outfit off and then just wanders around like some guy with red hair. And yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. You get to look like Marlin as you're going through this.
And all the grunts are sitting there like, "Oh, sir, you're back. I'm glad. We haven't seen you in a while." And so you get to impersonate Marlin for a while.
Yeah, so we walk through. You got to find some key cards to open up doors.
Yep.
Not a terrible little base to go through. Some of the grunts like want to battle you a little bit, which is nice. But here in the base is where you can find your Mega Stone for your starter Pokemon. Did you find your Metagrossite?
I found Metagrossite and Houndoomite.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yep.
Have we ran into a Houndour at all at this point?
Yes.
I remember.
There are some. They were very early on. I think those were in Leg 1. There's a place where you can get them.
Oh, okay.
I did not catch one myself,
I
but
wonder if they were like night spawns or something.
Oh, it's possible. It's possible.
haven't-
Yeah. Because I normally
played.
play at night, so getting day spawns for me is difficult. But
Oh, nice. So we're like the exact opposite,
right.
Because I basically have been playing mostly through the day. But yes, got the Tyranniterite. Man,
Yeah, it's some of the names, just throwing them at the end of Pokemon.
Yeah. Also got the Houndoomite. So 2 Megastones. One I'm able to use now, which is pretty nice. But yeah, so make our way through the base here and wind up finding, kind of like the control room, the executive office or whatever. And inside, Marlin, out of uniform, is having a conversation with Zeph, basically trying to convince him to work with us, telling him what happened about Aklov, what's going on with or no, Zeph was there, so he already knows.
Yeah, Zeph was filling Marlin in on some of the stuff that happened, and Marlin was filling Zeph in on Eros still being alive and what led up to why Eros disappeared.
Yeah.
With Faye coming in, because Faye wanted Hoopa, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and that's why in the very beginning of the game, Eros chucks Hoopa off the bridge into the water, hoping that Hoopa can stay out of the hands of Faye and this, the evil intent there. So again, like, finding out Hoopa was our dad's Pokemon and
helped build like half of Boreas, apparently. Yeah.
So, it would appear that all the things that Hoopa's doing is kind of...
and I believe when Eros throws the Pokeball into the water at the very beginning, I believe he actually says, "Watch over my child." If I remember correctly, he throws Hoopa in the water and says, "Watch over my child," and then Faye shows up and locks him in cube space immediately.
Yeah, so Hoopa's been trying to help us out and doing all these nefarious things against its own, will, right? Which is kind of sad. You never see Pokemon or people be weaponized, right? But yeah, but we walk in and Zeph's like, spy. What are you doing here?
Because Marlin is obviously there, and we walk in looking exactly like Marlon. So
yeah. And here we also find out what our poor rival has been trying to find out the entire game.
Yeah.
Marlin and Ivory, if you remember Ivory from previous leg, that those are actually our rival's parents. And they kind of got wrapped up with Faye and the Science Society and the Shadow organization here. They're kind of like I don't know how to describe, but like not really as evil as we've been led on to believe, right? Like Faye is kind of, the puppet master pulling all the strings.
Yeah.
She is not a great person, right? Her intention is very not great. But Marlin and Ivory
and Zeph himself.
Yeah, we learned that the reason they were kind of involved with this is kind of, heartbreaking, where Ivory and Marlin are trying to bring back a dead child of theirs, right?
Yep. And Zeph as well. Zeph lost a child, and so Zeph and Eros were friends, but then Ivory and Marlin were also friends, but they lived in...
It's one of the other existing regions.
They lived in Hoenn. Yep, Ivory and Marlin lived in Hoenn, but Zeph lost his child 17 years ago, and Marlin and Ivory moved. Ivory and Marlin came to console him, and they had apparently already lost a child as well, but they had also just given birth to twins.
Yep.
And Eros had just had us with our mother. So we are 17. Our rival is 17. So Zeph, Ivory, and Marlin are trying to use Hoopa's power to, I assume, go back in time and save their child.
Yeah. Or pull an infinity and just go steal another reality.
Just go steal someone else's child from a different reality.
Rick and Mortying up in here.
Yeah. So then that one has to go and get Hoopa to go and steal the child from another reality. Yeah.
Exactly. Let's break the generational curses, people.
Yeah.
So a lot of narrative dropped here, and it's we joke around about this being like very story thick here, but I'm enjoying it.
Yes.
Like, I'm enjoying the story that we're being given. I feel like the twists and turns that we've had so far, not like completely out of left field, blowing your mind, like, I can't believe that happened, but like they're interesting. I feel like it's been written well so far.
Yep. They do give you plenty of, like, obviously there's the people that tell you look like Eros. So I'm like, well, okay, we're obviously Eros's son or grandson. There were people that talked about Zeph. Why would Zeph ever want children? So of course you're sitting there thinking, okay, Zeph has children of some kind. Who are they? And then I actually thought our rival would be Zeph's child, not Marlin and Ivory. But they do a pretty good job of foreshadowing all of that for you. So
and just like getting lore bits from people in the town, like as you're just exploring, is super cool. And we talked about it in past episodes, but like that just kind of like brings life to your region. And so having all of this, all these stories about Eros before meeting Eros, and like, just learning why he mattered when we encounter him ourselves. Like, it's cool to have those scattered throughout the game leading up to this point. So like that moment actually has some weight behind it. Right. So very cool. So what's what is the decision made at the end of this little?
Well, we had to battle Zeph first, which I'm assuming you cruised through it, because you didn't even mention it.
I'm just like master trainer over here, just like closing my eyes through these battles.
Do you remember what his team was for you?
Let's see what the walkthrough says. What was it for you while I wait for this page?
So Zeph's team was Mightyena at level 45, Umbreon level 46 with leftovers on it, Gengar, Mega Gengar level 45, Decidueye level 46, and Exploud level 44.
Yeah, we had Mightyena, Exploud, Decidueye, and Mega Gengar.
Gotcha. Yeah. So the Umbreon was a bit annoying because it has leftovers on Umbreon, being super, super tanky. Anyone that's ever done any kind of PvP stuff knows they're a pretty good wall. It has leftovers, has Moonlight, which heals himself, and Zeph made sure to throw a couple hyper potions on him as well. But the Umbreon was fighting my Gigalith. My Gigalith is max attack EVs and max defense EVs.
Okay.
And the Umbreon hit me with like 3 swaggers to keep confusing me. So I eventually got to a point where when I was not hurting myself or anything, I O-code
Nice.
once I finally got a hit off on the Umbreon. Because anytime I wasn't doing quite enough damage, so he was just using leftovers and Moonlight would take him up. And then when I was getting him into the threshold, he was just hyper potioning him. So he just kept stacking that Umbreon back to full health. But I did eventually take it out.
Nice.
I think that was the only real problem I had. He used another hyper potion to keep the Decidueye alive. And the Decidueye was a problem. The Gengar, let's see here. The Gengar I still had, because he brought Gengar in after the Umbreon, and I was no longer confused. So he brought the Gengar in. Gengar was not able to KO Dumbledore, and I crit him with a Rock Slide to KO to one-shot the Gengar. So
nice. Yeah, after we beat Zeph, we actually learn a few things that we didn't talk about before moving on.
Right.
That he actually is the creator of the Super Cube.
Yeah, with Eros's help. Yep.
Yeah. And so Zeph, after we beat him, he kind of like comes to his senses a little bit after learning that Eros is our father. And then he also explains, the method of making the Shadow Warriors and how,
they were all volunteers.
They were all volunteers. They weren't doing it against people's wills. But in that process, he was, manipulated by Fae.
Right.
So we learned that, the Shadow organization, not necessarily great. All of the admin and execs that we've encountered so far, not blameless completely, but also kind of got in over their head and wrapped up in the wrong things, with not intentionally, right? So
well, and I think Marlon even calls it basically the lost cause, or sunken cost. They were in it so far that they had to see it through. They got to a point where it's like, well, we've already done all these horrible things. We might as well try and achieve the goal we were going for.
Right. Yeah. So after that, what is the verdict? How do we part ways? We learned about we learned where the Light of Ruin
right. Yeah. So one of their grunts comes in and says, hey, I think we've found where they're at.
Yeah, we got to go.
It ends up being the Science Society's original base or something like that.
Real original.
Yeah,
we have to head over to Viville Town.
Yep.
But to do that, we have to go through the Great Desert, and to go through the Great Desert, we need the Go Goggles, and to get the Go Goggles, we got to get the Dehara City Gym Badge. So, you would think that guy, we could go to him and be like, hey, we're kind of trying to solve a region-wide crisis. Can you just give me these goggles, please? No, we got to get the badge first.
The entire region is about to be pummeled to dust by Hoopa Unbound.
But you can't use that HM or get that item without this gym badge. That's my one draw, dude. My one snag in a lot of these Pokemon, in 100% the main series, but a lot of the fan games where it's guys, if we're gonna tell one of these stories where the world's existence is in peril, why are we getting gym badges? Like
Yeah.
that should be the last thing
why are you
anyone
still doing the gym like originally they were telling you to do the gym challenge because they're telling your mom that everything's okay, he's doing the gym challenge. See, look, here's a picture of him in gym number 2. Yeah, it's fine, he's doing the gym challenge, but
look.
at this point it's like,
yeah,
no one's even mentioned our mom in quite a while, and we were stuck. Apparently we were stuck in cube space for a really long time because you start talking to people and they're like, hey, haven't seen you in a while.
yeah, that's true. I wonder if we're on
and apparently our moms just kind of whatever
just forgot about us, doesn't
Yep.
care anymore. It's like, okay, but but yeah, so we head out and get back to Dehara City, and now we can the bridge to the gym is available. We can head in, and it is an electric steel gym. We have a fun little puzzle to get through with some sliding platforms and activating switches to power down the electricity generators. However, the gimmick is magnetism, which causes all of the Pokemon to levitate off the floor, which means you cannot use ground type moves, which is the obvious counter to this gym. But it still has steel, so you can use fire types or fighting. What do you think of this gym, the puzzle, the gimmick?
So my puzzle, again, being more difficult, you have to go and turn all the light bulbs on to get the walls to come down.
Yeah.
But in mine, you actually have to go through and you have to turn all of them on, but then you also have to go back through and figure out what ones to turn back off. So you are constantly going back and forth to figure out what one do I need to turn on and then turn off the other one to get the different gates to go through. So it's just a lot of running back, and it's not difficult. It's just literally running back and forth to try each one.
Does it reset when you leave? Because there's a lot of battles.
No, I was able to go out and heal.
Okay, I was gonna say, holy crap!
I was able to go back out and heal. And I actually, before doing the gym, now that we finally make it to the gym point, I go in. The attendant tells me, "Hey, here's what you're going to be facing. Oh, by the way, you can't use ground," which of course I've got a Nidoking that does not know ground moves, so it wouldn't have mattered for me anyways. But it's like, okay, I need something that's going to be able to deal with these steel type Pokemon. Yeah. So I go back and do a training arc with my Chimchar and take him all the way up to Infernape. But while I am doing my training arc on, I think it's Route 12, I run into a shiny Rockruff.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, so I have a shiny Rockruff, which I name Blue to, because I have Blue, my Manectric, which is a blue dog. I now have another blue dog, so I can't just name this one Blue.
Blue too.
So Blue, like mute. Yep. So I got a little bit.
I love shiny Rockruffs. They're so good.
Yep.
Do you? Which form did you choose?
I have not used it yet. I instantly stuck it in the box. Yep. So my shiny Pumpkaboo is like level 40, but I've not used it for anything. I've just thrown it in the party when I leveled up sometimes. I have not gone back to use the Rockruff because, of course, we are 5 boss battles in, and we still have not taken on the 4th gym. I am freaking out about trying to get this done in time. So it goes in the box. Maybe it'll come back later. I don't really know. But I also, while I was running around, I also ran into the 150,000 step guy.
Oh, nice.
And apparently I had made it through 150,000 steps. And for completing that mission, you get 50 Carbos.
Oh, geez.
So that'll help a little bit later on for EV training. Just skip the whole EV training side of things. But
right.
But yeah, so I swap out. I don't remember who I took off the team, but I go into the gym with a fully evolved Infernape at this point.
Nice. Which is nice because half of his team. Actually, no, that's not true. Only one of his team is Steel. For me, he had Alolan Golem, which is Rock Electric, Electros, Magneton, and a Mega Manectric, which, by the way, is so rad looking. I love Mega Manectric. Just a giant lightning bolt.
Interesting.
Who did he have for you?
So I went in with a full team of level 45s. I had Dumbledore. I named my Chimchar. My Chimchar was a female, so I named it Bernadette. With so I've got Dumbledore, Bernadette, Sentinel, Blue, Bags, and Spike. So I did actually bring Blue, my Manectric of my own, back on the team. But he had a Bronzong level 44, the Alolan Golem level 45, Mega Ampharos level 46, Lantern level 45, and Escavalier level 45.
Oh, wow. The teams are very different.
Very, very different. Yep.
Interesting. How'd it go for you?
Well, first off, I did not know these were going to be double battles. So that was
that's
very interesting to find out. I started with Bernadette and Dumbledore out, and he started with the Alolan Golem and Bronzong. I OHKO'd the Golem with close combat from Bernadette, but the Bronzong used Trick Room, and their entire team is super slow, and because they're Trick Rooming, they have EVs and all of their primary stats. So it did get pretty hairy in here, but I was able to use, I think this is the first time that I actually use my Mega Metagross.
Oh, cool.
So I was able to get through the battle back and forth with the Mega Metagross. There was, again, a ton of swapping back and forth, but I did have Stealth Rock down to help chip away at things. And then I kept switching because Bags has Fake Out on it. So I kept switching Bags in to fake out his heavy damage dealers. Like when he brought in the Mega Ampharos, I kept bringing Bags in. I'll hit him with a fake out, and then I'd swap him out to wait until Trick Room wore off. So then my entire team is now faster than his. Nice. So I was able to whittle him down. I ended up beating the battle. I had not quite full HP. It was about 95% HP on Bernadette and 13 HP left on Sentinel. But I did complete it on my first try. But I had to use, I think I had to use 1 or 2 revives. Yes, I had to revive Dumbledore and I had to revive Sentinel at some point to bring him back. Nice. But hey, 1 try. Yep.
Very, very awesome. After we get the gym badge, we can use Surf. So if you did any backtracking, I did not. I assume you didn't either. But
nope.
If you head back to Icicle Cave, you can get the TM for Ice Beam, which is handy. You can get a Shiny Stone on Route 2, Brutal Swing in Dresco Town, the Deep Sea Scale and Deep Sea Tooth in Route 3, Flamethrower in Cinder Volcano.
Yeah, you can surf on lava, by the way. That was pretty wild.
Yeah, fire Pokemon.
I have not done it yet, but that is super wild.
You can get a Flame Orb and a Magmarizer also in Cinder Volcano. You can get a Dawn Stone on Route 10, Shadow Ball on Route 9, along with Flame Charge, and Silk Scarf, Shed Shell, and Steelixite in Fall Shore City. So just some cool items you can backtrack now that you have Surf and get. But we're not doing that because we got some issues to fix here.
Right.
We got to get to Vivil Town, and that's gonna involve us getting the Go Goggles and going through the Great Desert. So, excuse me. Actually, the walkthrough is having me like surf.
Yeah.
Did you surf?
Because it opens up different routes. So the walkthrough says, hey, you can go do these things before you progress the story. And I did none of them. I just went straight to the desert.
Yeah, that's
because
what I did.
now that you can surf, you've unlocked there are surfing routes in the game. So it wants you to go back and do all these because there are different trainers to fight, items to find, that kind of stuff. I did not. I surfed around a little bit by the one beach right outside of Dehara, but otherwise I just went straight to the desert. I'm trying to see. Yeah, so oh geez. Yep. So I actually skipped quite a bit. Yeah. Wow. I skipped a lot of these. There we go. Part 24 is where it finally comes back. Yep. So you go in, talk to the guy after you got the gym badge, get the go goggles from the house right next to the tunnel to go out into the desert. And before you're able to go out to the desert, you get stopped by Arthur and your rival meet up with you there. And this is where let's see. Arthur has not seen Jax ever since we were at the Ruins of Void. So before we got sucked into the cube space, Jax apparently goes missing. So Jax has been missing for quite a while, and Arthur is kind of worried about him. Our rival, Mr. K. Dadon, starts throwing a little bit of a tantrum because Arthur barges in and is bothering us when Jax really, or when our rival really wants to just find it. He's still looking for his parents, wants information about where the shadows are, doesn't care what all is going on. So kind of gets mad at Arthur, and that hence why my tag for this is not responsible for the actions of Vinny in Kumano's playthrough, who's not here to talk about all of the things that Vinny has been up to.
Yeah.
But so Arthur tells us, hey, you need to keep an eye out for Jax, keep going. And our rival pushes on ahead to Vivil Town.
Yeah.
To continue his search for his parents.
Yeah. So then we track our way through the Great Desert to follow him over to Vivil Town. Did you find anything interesting in the desert here? If you ran into the clown that was trapped behind the rocks that you can smash, if you free him and then do it again, you can get a dome fossil.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I did not. I ran into the clown. I talked to the clown. He said, hey, go destroy all the rocks. And I was very much, I don't got time for that.
Right.
The only thing I did in the desert, I battled all of the trainers just to keep my levels going up. I didn't catch anything, but I talked to the what's his name?
The Undying Lucario
cult guys. Yep. Yep. So I talked to the Undying Lucario cult member, and he tells you to fight 2,000 Pokemon battles, and they will induct you into the Undying Lucario, which I think when Kumino made it to this point, he still needed 1,300 battles or something yet.
Yeah, he needed.
I
a
made it to
significant
this
amount.
point and apparently already have 2,000 battles in.
Yeah.
So
So you found out that this isn't like trainer battle.
No, it's
like
not
any
trainer
battle.
battles, any Pokemon battle. Yep. But I've been doing a ton of EV training throughout the whole playthrough.
Yeah,
So apparently I have done over 2,000 Pokemon battles at this point.
that's crazy.
But I
And
do
the
get
reward.
I get Lucario Night.
Nice, which is very helpful for you.
I do not. Yep. Yeah, if it was Scrafty Night, that would be fine. But nope, I've used Lucario plenty. So,
So Kumino, bro, go grind those battles. You need that.
yep.
Oz needs his Lucario Knight. But yeah, so not there's also like a cave down the bottom. Not much going on here at this point.
Right.
So we head east. We get to Gurun Town, which is very small but like kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
I like the like little
clay,
yeah,
looking things.
yeah. The path is really cool. I like the houses; they look awesome. It's just right outside the desert. There's like a monument to the Reggies in the middle, which is cool.
Yep.
But we're concerned with heading north. Through the Vivel Woods to get to Vivel Town.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a ton to do here. There's a guy who will buy like, the interesting relic items for, more than a Pokemart would.
Right.
There's a side quest to collect 20 hard stones. If you get those, he'll give you the TM for SmackDown. Other than that, though, we're just gonna head north. There's a KBT Expressway entry here, but
I'm very, very much like I need to just get this done. So I rushed through the town, did nothing. I had already fished 3 times at least, so I got the pearl from the fisherman.
Oh, yeah, same.
But otherwise, no, just rushed through the town, didn't bother with the expressway, and just went straight to Vivel Woods.
Yeah, and the woods also not very big, which is very nice.
Yep.
Pleasant surprise. So once we get through the woods, there's not much to note about these woods.
No, I don't even have a note section in I just rushed straight through the woods. There's interesting bug Pokemon and stuff like that to catch at this point, which is really bizarre this late in the game, but kind of cool. Oh, don't you?
Yeah, I was actually gonna. For our audio only listeners, Venom's cat just climbed up on his desk and started knocking stuff off, which was hilarious.
Jumped up, threw a bunch of stuff off my desk, and then ran away.
That was awesome. I actually thought that as I was going through. I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. You never come across woods and bug Pokemon late in the game, and here we are. We're running to like level 40 Caterpie, which is super interesting. But yeah, so we come out of the woods, we get to Vivel Town, and it's abandoned, and our rival is waiting for us. Mm-hmm. And Denham's pretty impatient. He feels like he's hot on the case. He needs to find out about his parents, and no one's gonna stop him. No one's gonna slow him down. He's going in. He doesn't care about the Light of Ruin. He doesn't care about the shadows. He just wants to learn about his parents. So he kind of gives us that little speech and then runs off. But if you walk around Vivel Town here, it's rainy. No one's outside. There's no residents anywhere. You can't get in the houses. So we make our way up to the north part of the town to the Science Society's building. And there's a grunt waiting outside. And before we can even really confront him, a giant ship comes and shoots a bunch of cannonballs into the cliffside, and yeah, everyone's like, "What the heck just happened?"
Yep.
What'd you think of this? It took
That
me
was
by
very,
surprise.
yeah, I was very surprised because the grunt literally says there's not a force large enough to take us on, and then the ship just comes out of nowhere, blows a hole in the side of the cliff that their base is built into, and then just plows straight in. It just plows straight into the cliffside and collapses like half the base.
So awesome.
Yep.
So the shadows have arrived.
Yep.
And of course, we make our way into the warehouse here.
We don't really make our way into the warehouse. Our very impatient rival throws his Pokemon out, and the Pokemon just kind of beats the crap out, just side swipes the guard out of the way, knocks him unconscious, and then your rival runs in the door.
Yeah, and I love how he's like, I mean, he was gonna attack us.
Yeah.
He tries to like justify
Yeah.
using Pokemon on human violence. But yeah, so we go through the warehouse. The warehouse isn't very big. But we have to learn the 5, I think, letters for the password to
And also learn that the only person I have that can surf is Nidoking at this point, because Nidoking was not on my team. So I got to the basement and I'm trying to figure out, why can I not surf on this water? What is going? How am I supposed to progress? And no, apparently Nidoking had to go back on my team.
That's rough. But as you go through the warehouse and beat certain grunts, they'll give you one of the letters to the password, and it just spells out Aklov. Very original. But yeah, once we get down to the bottom, and Venom found a Pokemon that he could surf across the water, we get to the like command center here. And Aklov's there. Zeph, I believe, is there. Is Zeph there?
Yep. Zeph is
the
there.
Whole crew's there.
Yep. And one of the scientist grunts is there. Yep.
Ivory's there.
Well, Ivory is on the other team. She's there, but we don't know she's there until we break through the door.
Yeah. So, Marlon's wife, Ivory, betrays the shadows, and now she's Aklov's second in command of the Light of Ruin. Which kind of sucks, you know. Aklov's there with Unbound Hoopa, getting ready. He in this base, they're trying to collect data to find where the ultimate weapon is, so they can find it and use it to get this revenge for what happened way back in the history of Boreas. However, because of the Shadows ship that blows up the wall of the base and crashes into it and floods this room, all of the research finding out where the ultimate weapon is kept hidden was destroyed. So Aklov's pretty ticked. And in the midst of all this, our rival shows up and painfully finds out that Marlon and Ivory are his parents. Which, man, not only are they on the villainous team, but they're on both villainous teams.
Yeah, they're on two different villainous teams at this point, fighting against each. So he finds his parents, who are now fighting against each other.
Yeah, and Aklov's not really interested in any of this, so he uses Hoopa to teleport Marlon, Ivory, and our rival somewhere. We don't know where. And then we get a battle with Aklov. For me, he had Roserade, Primarina, and Hoopa Unbound. Who did he have for you?
So he didn't even have a Mega for you?
Nope.
Oh, wow. Let's see. For me, he had level 48 Klefki, level 51 Hoopa Unbound, level 51 Primarina, level 50 Togekiss, level 49 Roserade, and level 51 Mega Gardevoir.
Oh, nice.
And my entire team is level 47 and 48 at this point. So he is quite a bit over leveled for me.
How'd this battle go?
This battle was, let's see. I finished it decently, but it was very annoying because he leads with the Klefki. I led with Spike, and was able to throw down 2 layers of toxic spikes, but the Klefki sets up Reflect and Light Screen. So I kind of have to get into a swapping battle. The Primarina comes out, and I have Sentinel out to fight against the Klefki. Primarina swaps in, and I did not realize Primarina was going to hurt so much, but Primarina OHKOs my level 49 Metagross with a Surf.
Oh, wow.
Just 100 to zeros my Metagross with a single Surf.
That's
now
crazy.
Surf in this game is, because I think in most games it's a base power of 90. It is a base power of 95 in this game, so it does slightly more damage. But still, I was not expecting that at all. So I ended up actually having to revive my Metagross. I burned up, I only had 2 max revives. I burned up one of my max revives to bring my Metagross back because I hadn't mega'd it yet. So if it had fainted and I had mega'd already, you can't mega again.
Right.
But since I hadn't mega'd yet, I was able to bring Metagross back with a max revive, get him to mega. The Klefki does come back eventually and puts out Reflect and Light Screen again. The Roserade comes out, and Roserade being poison type absorbs the toxic spikes. So I have to deal with the Roserade before I can then get more spikes down. But it ends up being just this constant battle back and forth of me getting the Stealth Rock sticks forever, but the 2 layers of toxic spikes kind of letting them start ramping up on toxic damage. And I can't really do any damage because of the Light Screen and Reflect. So it's just a long battle of fighting back and forth. But I do finish the battle with Sentinel basically at full health and Dumbledore at 40% HP. So nice. I do clear through it.
Yeah. So now that we've beaten Aklov, the leg is over. Just kidding. We have so much more left to go.
Yeah.
Aklov is ticked off at us because we beat him. And instead of playing fairly, he has Hoopa send us to the Dimension Realm. Distortion Realm.
Distortion World. Yeah, Distortion Realm. Yep. So keeping us in the cube didn't work, but this time we're going to the Distortion World. It's how many different places does he have to send us? We don't really know.
Yeah. And much like the cube, we learn when we get to the Distortion World that we're not alone. Poor Jax has been here.
Yep.
And he can't find his way out. And this maneuvering around the Dimension World was pretty cool. There are like kind of craters that act as buttons that make cliffs pop up or disappear, and you're hopping around cliffs. There's cliffs that are like would be looking like a wall, so you're walking like sideways. They did a cool job of making this feel distorted, which was nice. But yeah, you kind of got to make your way around. You're gonna have to use strength. You're gonna have to use surf, which because the background was blue when I got to the part where you had to surf. Right. I was like,
yes.
What am I supposed to do?
I turned around as well.
Yeah,
I did the same thing. I didn't realize that was water originally.
Yeah.
The first note I have is we run like 2 steps into this place and hit a fork, and Jax is instantly like, we'll be able to find our way out better if we split up. And I'm just sitting here going, you've been stuck here for how long? You didn't even know this was here.
You didn't try the other side?
We're in a distorted realm where you can literally run on upside down cliffs without falling, and your idea is split up.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
But eventually, as you make your way through, figure out the puzzle, figure out you can actually surf and it's not the background that you're looking at, which seriously took me way too long to figure out. I actually like had to watch a video because I was like, I don't know what else to do.
Oh, I figured it out the second time I ran into it.
There's you get to a section where there are a couple boulders you got to like maneuver and push together.
Were yours moving together?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was kind of a pain.
Yeah, that one was, but after that one clicked without me having to look it up. But my dumb self, I was like, did not realize that I could surf there, and that was like the easiest part. Like, just push A on the water, you idiot. But yeah, after we make our way through, solve the puzzle, we hear a sound of a Pokemon, and Jax is like, "Oh crap, that sounds like a powerful Pokemon. Maybe you should handle this."
Yeah, because if I remember right, Jax doesn't have his Pokemon, right?
That's true. And like you mentioned, Thundercap Mountain, he's kind of, he's
a little down.
Not the most confident Jax at this point. So yeah, we end up fighting this Pokemon, and it's a Giratina. How did your remember Jumpluff if it gets too triggering?
Yeah.
How was your Giratina battle?
Giratina on my difficulty level. Well, one, we go into the Aklov battle. As soon as you start that Aklov battle, you are locked. You are going to end up in the distortion world. You do not get to change anything. The only thing you have is Jax can heal all of your Pokemon for you. So the team you go to fight Aklov with, if you don't know this battle is coming up, you could actually be screwed. So I come in, the Giratina gets a full Omni boost at the start of the battle for my difficulty level. So imagine an ancient power boost. Full stats get boosted up. So Giratina is faster than all of my team except for my Infernape and my Superior. Those are the only 2 Pokemon that outspeed it. And it if it gets a hit off, it OHKOs every single one of my team. So my first experience with it was it just OHKOing all 6 of my team. So ouch. I literally thought this was the end of my run. I actually thought this was the end of my run because I have nothing, and the Giratina in mine has leftovers. It is a wild Giratina with leftovers. So even if I lead with Dumbledore to get Sandstorm up, Sandstorm does the same amount of damage that leftovers heals. So
ouch.
And I can go in with priority moves, but I can only get 1 priority move off. So you can't ever do, because I've got Bullet Punch on
Metagross.
I don't believe, do I even have bags on my team at this point? No, I don't have bags on my team. I've got blue on my team because I had swapped out bags for blue to take on Aklov. Mm-hmm. So I don't even have Fake Out at this point. I've got Bullet Punch as a priority move, and I have Sandstorm to offset leftovers. So I literally messaged in the Discord on Saturday, I think.
Jumpluff.
Yeah, I literally messaged on Saturday that said, I think I am soft locked because all of my save states were from the Aklov battle. Mm-hmm. So I had nothing previous to that that I could jump back to and try a different team. So I fought with it. My superior still knows Leaf Tornado.
Nice.
Leaf Tornado has, I believe, a 10% chance to lower accuracy by 1 stage.
Mm-hmm.
So I reset my game for an hour, getting Leaf Tornado to hit an accuracy drop to get to a point where Giratina would miss enough attacks for me to beat it and make it through. I did not lower the difficulty level. I made it through this battle, resetting over and over and over for a 10% chance thing to happen. And that lowers it to what, 7/8 or it's 5/6 or whatever. So Giratina has 85% accuracy or whatever when you hit it with the accuracy drop. So I have a 10% chance to lower its accuracy, and then I have a 15% chance that it will miss a move. But one move is not enough because it is constantly healing. Yeah. It needs to miss multiple moves for me to be able to take this thing out. So
dang, but you did it.
I did it. Yep.
Dude, that reminds me so much of season 2. We did our type draft and played through Row. And for some unknown reason, the Wally battle and Victory Road and then the Elite Four were so freaking hard, like out of nowhere. And the only reason I finished that was because I was stuck on an airplane. And so I just smashed my face.
I think you were the only, if I remember right, you were the only one, because I didn't finish it. I wasn't on the podcast, but I was playing along with everyone. I don't think anyone else even finished it.
Yeah, dude.
I think you were literally the only person that finished it.
I just smashed my face against my Steam Deck for a 2.5-hour flight on the way to Florida from Ohio. That was happening when we were coming down here to try to find a place before we moved. And then the rest of the Elite Four was the 2.5-hour flight back to Ohio. It was so painful. So I feel your pain, bro. But you persevered.
I did.
But yeah, so after we beat Giratina, a rift opens up, and when we jump through, we're plopped out in the Rift Cave, which is in Dehara City, which is the empty cave just north of the game corner. After we do that, we got to head back to Viville Town and go through the story, which we get back to the Science Society building. Jax and Arthur are there waiting for us, and basically Arthur figures everything. We tell Arthur everything that's kind of transpired up to this point, and Arthur, knows where the ultimate weapon is being hidden, and it was moved to Crystal Peak. So he's thinking that Aklov might be on his way there. Sorry. Crystal Peak is in East Boreas. We can only go there by ship from Seaport City. But for some reason, again, even though we have a beat here, we think our main villain is off to find the ultimate weapon to destroy the region. Jax thinks it would be a good idea for us to go to Antisis City to get the next battle or gym badge. So, of course, naturally, that's exactly what we do. We're like, you know what? You're right. We deserve a little me time. Let's go get our 6th gym badge.
In the gang-infested city.
Yeah. So, I don't really do much exploring here because we're kind of on a time crunch.
I was doing this at 11 p.m. last night.
Yeah, this leg is long with a capital L, capital O, capital N, capital G. But yeah, so to get to Antisis City, which I hate saying because it sounds like I don't know how to talk, we actually have to go back to Gurun Town, and then instead of going west through the Great Desert, we're going to go south, and we'll go through Route 16, do a little surfing, and end up here in Antisis City, which, by the way, if you remember through our journey in talking to random people in the world, nobody's ever said anything good about this city. Actually, everyone's been warning us not to go to the city because it's riddled with crime and gangs. So, oh, you can get the HM for rock climb on the way.
Yes, I accidentally did that.
Yeah, I don't.
You have to go off of Route 16. You actually end up on Route 17, but you can't progress any farther. You run into a bunch of workers that say something about there's a bridge that collapsed or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the one of them says, here, if you take rock climb, you can work your way around. But in order to use rock climb, you need the 6th gym badge, which is then why we have to go and do the gym.
Which I'm going to have to go backtrack because I did not get rock climb. But yeah, so once you get to the city, I actually like the way the city's designed. It's like all run down. You have like a couple different gangs like vying for control of the city. You have the Black Ferrothorns, the Grand Bull. I forget what their gang's called, but the Grand Bull gang is no longer
Black Ferrothorn and
the Black Embor, which is now Black Mike or Black Venom, or Black Kumino. But yeah, the Terror Grand Bull, that was the other one. They've kind of been
they got kicked out.
Yeah, they've kind of been overrun. And there's some the Black Embor like gang house is here in the center of the town. You can go in there. There's a handful of side quests. There's one to get socks that got flushed down the toilet in the sewers, which was kind of neat. There's one to go fight some Black Ferrothorn gang members, which was pretty cool. But the main thing here is we need to beat Big Mo, the gym leader here, to get the ring badge. By the way, if you try to use the Pokemon Center, you have to pay $500 every time you use it because the gang in control.
I had a question because I was in a Discord chat with one of our other Discord members, the Azan that I brought in, because he was playing through. He's back at gym. I think he was back at gym 4, gym 5 area last night while I was playing. So I was talking to him, and I walk into the Pokemon Center, and I'm like, "What the hell? There's someone riding a bicycle around." And just subconsciously, I'm talking about the guy with the bicycle, and run up to the person. I don't even realize, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, "Oh no, he just charged me money." So I have a note here that says, "Did anyone else accidentally pay the fee in the Pokemon Center?"
It's I paid it every time, but I'm
really?
Poke rich. Yeah.
I have my flying Metagross, so I use my UFO to zoom over to one of the other towns to heal for free.
That is true. He is a giant UFO.
Yeah, I mean at that point he would be. Yeah.
To the east of the city is the port, and you get I haven't done this yet because I don't play at nighttime. But you get a mission to go like smuggle in some rose incense from the port. I didn't do that, but you can only go between 8 and midnight, which is
but he says, I don't know if it's a time limited one, because I obviously was doing this at 11 p.m. last night, and he's like, you need to do this tonight between 8 and midnight, and he's like, oh, it's that time right now. What are we doing here? So it just instantly starts the quest for me. So I actually had to go and do that quest.
Yeah, I haven't checked back to try, but obviously I didn't do it the day I played this.
Yeah. You find out there's a interesting supplier, and the methods for which they come upon Dream Mist. You might want to think about using Dream Mist in the future.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. We can circle around maybe in leg 4, see if you and Kumino have gone back to do this one.
Okay. I'll have to check that out then. Yeah, outside of, there's the other missions here, but we're just concerned with taking on Big Mo here.
Yep.
And I actually really like how this gym's set up. So far, like, I thought all the gym mechanics and gym puzzles have been really interesting. Have you liked them up to this point?
The only one that I didn't like was the Vega's gym with the darkness.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That one was actually
that one was a pain. That one was a pain in the butt, and it was only because the controls are kind of janky.
Yeah.
The whole jerking start stop thing that made it really difficult, more difficult than it needed to be.
Yeah. But for this gym challenge, there's no puzzle or anything. You just go and you fight 3 trainers, and you each can only have 1 Pokemon. And is there healing in between?
They do heal your Pokemon in between, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
But you can only pick 1 Pokemon, and they also ban fighting type weaknesses.
Yes. Yep. So you can't use flying, psychic, or fairy. Yep.
Yeah. So I ended up using Treebeard, my Trevenant, for this. No reason other than he's Ghost, so maybe if they tried to, for some reason, use a normal type move, like, it would
normal
miss.
Or fighting type, they wouldn't be able to kill him.
And he knows Horn Leech, so I can life steal if it's getting into a rough situation. He knows Will-O-Wisp, which will lower attack, and then he also knows Ingrain, so I can kind of like life steal my way through battles if things get a little tricky. But my trainers had a Sawk, the second one had a Poliwrath, and then the third one had an Emboar, which was kind of tough for my Trevenant there. What did yours have?
Mine had the same. Yep, it doesn't change anything for that. But I went in with I have a Mega. I'm going to use my Mega. Mm-hmm. So I just wrecked him with Mega Metagross. Nice. Even the Emboar, because my Metagross has full defense EVs. So the Emboar was doing no damage to me whatsoever.
So you just can't use like psychic attacks.
Right. I couldn't use psychic attacks, so I was only using my Metagross has Bullet Punch, Iron Head, and Hammer Arm. And Hammer Arm, I believe. Yeah, I used Hammer Arm on the Emboar. On the other guys, I think I just did Iron Heads.
What is Hammer Arm?
Hammer Arm is a fighting move.
Okay. I always get that one mixed up with...
It lowers your speed. You use it, it does quite a bit of damage, and it has, I think, a 10% chance to miss. Mm-hmm. But it lowers your speed when you use it. Mm. So I don't normally use it, but if you're only facing 1 Pokemon, who cares if your speed goes down? So
is there a Grass Hammer?
That's Wood Hammer.
Wood Hammer
is a grass type.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so we fight those 3 trainers with our one-on-one battle there, and then they let us pass into the back alley to take on Big Mo, and again, same thing. We only get 1 Pokemon, right?
Where are you at?
Oh no, never mind.
Okay.
Did we get our whole team?
I only had to face the three guys outside.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about when we challenge Mo.
Oh, when we challenge Mo, yeah, you get your entire team.
Okay.
Yep. You get your entire team, and the restrictions are lifted. You can use psychic and psychic, flying, and fairy are now on the board.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. So yeah, we challenged Big Mo. I think I didn't really notice because I don't actually have. Oh, I guess I have Malamar, but I was in such a rush. I was like, we're just gonna fight this guy. I'm not even gonna bother trying to use Malamar.
Yep.
But yeah. So for me, Mo had Mindshow, Pangoro, Hariyama, and a Mega Lucario.
I just realized I didn't put his full team in here. I know what his last number was, though. So 1 sec. Yep. So I went in with a full team of 52s. I've got Sentinel, Bags, Spike, Ivan, Dumbledore, and Bernadette on my team. Big Mo has a level 52 Mudsdale, level 52 Pangoro, level 53 Whale Lord, level 52 Hariyama, and a level 53 Snorlax. He does not have a Mega, though.
Oh, for you, didn't have a Mega?
No, he did not have a Mega for me. No, but
how the tables have turned.
Yeah, but of course the gimmick is heavier. There is a trick room style field effect. So the heavier a Pokemon is, the faster the Pokemon is. So your speed does not matter in this. It is all based on weight. But Mega Metagross is heavier than all of his team.
Oh, makes sense. Giant hunk of metal.
Yep. So regular Metagross is lighter than about half of his team, but the Mega gets, I think it's like 2,200 pounds or something like that.
So he goes from like aluminum to steel.
Yep.
Nice.
So I was actually able to outspeed him with Metagross and made it through. I made it through the entire battle without even using Spike or Bernadette a single time.
Oh,
so
nice.
I cleared through the battle pretty easy.
That's awesome. Interesting. I mean, obviously, this is like the shortest gym.
Yeah, because there's no trainers, there's no
puzzle,
job
which was very nice after the jog that we just went through. Can't even call it a jog; it was like a full marathon. We did get Drain Punch as our reward, which is very nice. But I'm in the like a pickle here because I have Hariyama on my team, but he knows Force Palm and Smelling Salt, which Smelling Salt is a normal type attack, but does a crap load of more damage if your opponent is paralyzed. But it will cure their paralysis, Smelling Salt actually would.
Right. Yeah.
And I like having Force Palm because it has a decent chance of causing paralysis. So I would love to teach Drain Punch. I love Drain Punch. It's a great move. I love Life Steal. But I also have Heavy Slam, a steel type move on Hariyama to help counter any potential fairy matchups, and then Ice Punch to counter any flying matchups. So I don't want to lose coverage and teach Drain Punch with one of those other moves. And I kind of like the Smelling Salt Force Palm combo.
Right.
But I can't get rid of Force Palm because Drain Punch doesn't paralyze, and then that would make Smelling Salt kind of useless.
Salt, so then you have to find a whole another move. You have to find 2 new moves for that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't messed around with it because as soon as I got this badge, I was like, I am saving this. I'm putting this down because this was crazy.
I finished this at I think midnight last night and just instantly shut off my computer and went to bed for work this morning.
I hope you saved it.
I did. No, okay. I did. I always make sure I have it saved natively in the game and I have a save state. So.
Same. But yeah, all that to say, I haven't really, seen if anyone else on my team is compatible with Drain Punch, but I'll do that.
Probably put it on my Scrafty.
Nice. It's such a great move.
I'm keeping Brick Break on him just because I know I'm going to be running into reflect and light screen more.
Yep.
I mean, I almost have to this late in the game. I'm assuming there's going to be more trainers that do that. So I'll keep Brick Break, but then I'll get rid of, he's got dual chop right now. I'll just get rid of that and go with the Drain Punch, because my Scrafty is defense and special defense spec'd. So
nice.
Because he's Moxie, if I can actually manage to kill something, his attack's going to be boosted. So if I can drain punch my way through some trainers, that might work out. Yeah,
drain tank some battles there.
Yeah,
that's nice. So that wraps it. That actually is the end of leg 3. We now have 6 of 8 gym badges, and a huge chunk of the narrative played through here. We'll see how leg 4 pans out. I mean, kind of narratively, where I'm assuming the ultimate confrontation at the ultimate weapon will kind of wrap up the story. So I'm not, I mean, I can't say one way or the other because I haven't looked ahead, but I want to say next leg probably won't be as like crazy, crazy deep with the narrative, because it seems like that's kind of like it's all culminating here at the ultimate weapon. But even though it was jam-packed full of stuff, it was a fun portion, and I ended leg 3 with the same team. No surprise here. My Treebeard, the Trevenant, is level 62. Nala, my Pyroar, is 61. Stella, the Alolan Sandslash, is 62. E-Honda, my Hariyama, is 60. Squidward, my Malamar, at 61. And Kai James, my Mega Tyranitar, is at 61. How is your team looking at the end here?
Wow, you are much higher than I am. My team, except for one, my team is all level 52. My only level 53 is Sentinel, my Metagross. But then I've got Ivan, the Superior, is still on the team. Bernadette, my Infernape. My Gigalith, Dumbledore. Scraggy, my Bags, my Scraggy, and Spike, Nidoking.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. And for those curious, Kumino's situation is going okay, so that's always good.
Yeah.
So he should be back for the next episode, and hopefully you guys are back. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, follow us here on YouTube, so you can be notified when we pump out some new content. You can follow us on the audio platforms, Spotify, Apple, wherever you can find podcasts. I'm sure we're there. And also leave a comment here on the episode. Let us know your team here after your 6th gym badge. And you can join the Discord. Link is in the episode description. And you can chat along as you're playing through. We have all sorts of conversations, obviously, about Pokemon, but all sorts of other games and movies and TV shows and music and all of that fun stuff. So join the Discord, come be a part of the community, leave a comment here on the episode, let us know how you're doing. Make sure you follow Kumino on Twitch. His link is in the episode description below too. He's currently working his way through Luminescent Pearl, and it's been a pretty entertaining watch. So got anything you need to get off your chest before we get out of here, Venom? You're just ready to go to bed.
I'm ready to go to bed, and apparently everyone is getting antsy, so I'm being bothered by animals all over the place.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys here in 2 weeks for leg 4, the penultimate episode of season 7. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you then. Bye.